Hey everybody, welcome. Did you know you can get so high from something that doesn't cost any money and isn't difficult to access and isn't far away? You don't have to travel for it. And it's intrinsic, it's inherent inside of us. Welcome everyone. Please share where you're from when you enter. Welcome to episode 94 of The Glow. I was on Friday playing some guitar and having fun and singing some songs, and that was just sort of a live one-time thing that wasn't saved and preserved. So this is actually episode 94. So when you breathe deeply, there's a natural ecstatic high that comes into being. Welcome from Oslo, Norway. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you for being here. And it's this inherent natural path to the inherent relaxed ecstasy of who and what we are. West Asheville in the house. MB. Buffalo Street, right? By the way, I thought I saw you walking the other day up Florida Avenue. I don't know if that was you though. We're in a society where there's this natural inherent sense of stress and anxiety, this underlying level of stress and anxiety. The body's tight, the body's contracted, the body's in defense mode, the body's in this perpetual state of fight or flight response. Perpetual state of underlying trauma that's reinforced by the social constructs of the values and norms of the society and the culture, which perpetuate fear. The mass media perpetuates fear, the government perpetuates fear, the education system perpetuates fear. You always have to be on the lookout for the bad things that are going to happen in the future. It keeps you in a sense of... And what happens is you stop breathing. You're not breathing. Welcome, Natalia. So, I say sometimes we're literally lost in our heads. Literally because we're not breathing past the top of our necks. You know, we're just contracted. So when you start to breathe deeply, you start to relax and open the body expands, the heart opens and expands, the mind opens and expands, the nervous system opens and expands. You start to relax into the infinite essence of who and what you truly are. And when you're breathing deeply, you're in a state of relaxation. And when you bring attention and awareness to it, to this moment, you're in every state of relaxed, attentive awareness. So one of the things we discussed before is if you can be relaxed and also attentive and alert at the same time, this is where the magic and the miracles happen, and you become a clear channel, clear open channel for the universal creative intelligence to move through you in this moment. And on the physical level, the gateway is the breath. The breath, to be breathing deeply. Where is my breath right now? Such an essential question. You know, where is my breath right now? Am I breathing when you're feeling tense, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling stressed, having a fight with someone in your family, bosses yelling at you, you're in traffic? Where's my breath right now? Where is my breath right now? Am I breathing? It brings you into the moment, brings you into the breath. You take a deep breath. And when you start to recondition yourself to breathe deeply, there's this natural euphoric feeling that fills your system. This natural ecstatic energy, which is the essence of who and what we are. It's the natural state of being. So this is what yoga, the yogic teachings are based in the breath. Right? It's not about how to look sexy in a bikini and get photos on Instagram. It's about how to breathe. These postures, the only reason you go into these different postures is to breathe into these different areas of your body, to bring the energy, the oxygenation, the life force, the consciousness, the presence, to circulate through the system that is you. The ancient Taoist teachings talk about it as qi. So those that have explored deeply into consciousness, that have explored deeply into resting, into relaxing, the self-realization of who and what we truly are, and the self-actualization to express in the world, have recognized universally and fundamentally that the breath on a physical level is an essential element to connect deeply with yourself, with the life force that's around you, and the universal creative intelligence that has the ability to move through you when you open, relax, and make yourself available to it. Hey Jenny. So one of the reasons why it may seem like I'm in a state of ecstatic bliss when the video first comes on is because I'm breathing. I'm breathing. Breathing is the fundamental element on the physical level. There's other essential elements too. The most fundamental element is knowing who and what you really are. That's the most fundamental element of all. Knowing who, the two most essential questions in the human incarnation: who are you really, and why are you here? You know, to be clear in those questions. And those aren't necessarily questions that are answered in words, that are answered with thought, with thinking. They're not conceptual answers. Transcends words, transcends thought, transcends concepts. And then the presence, you know, there's a presence. Someone really sweet came up to me yesterday and said, they kind of came up to me and gave him a hug, and they said, because I wasn't really speaking, I was just quiet. And they said, I just want to be in your presence for a little while. Which was a really sweet, authentic, vulnerable way of communicating, because oftentimes that's really all we want. We just want to be in each other's presence for a little while, but we talk all this superficial nonsense as an excuse to be in each other's presence, you know? And it's sort of a distraction from what we really want, is just to be together. We don't really need to have many words often. Sometimes the words are really valuable and really beautiful, and there's things to explore and to inquire into verbally. But really, fundamentally, this space is about the transmission of presence. So the words are not what's most essential here. And it's beautiful to get feedback that people are getting that, understanding that, right? There's sort of a fragrance that emerges from the flower when this awakened consciousness is present. That transcends the words, that transcends concepts. It's really the essence of love. And I think as human beings, we're still learning what love really is and what it isn't. And fundamentally, it's a state of being. From the realization of unity consciousness. And then the opening to be in love with all that is, and an unconditional relationship with this moment. And expressing that in the world. By the way, I'm not wearing any pants because it's not necessary with the camera like this, and it's kind of warm in here, so just wearing a shirt right now. Just wanted to be really authentic and vulnerable and share that with you. Feel much more free this way. I am wearing briefs, not fully. I am wearing something, but no actual pants. On that note, does anyone have any questions or comments? What did you say? Natalia is my good friend, and she's hosting our Big Low Retreat in Raleigh next month. And I really appreciate her contributions to what I have to share. And let's see what she says. What can translate into words is a normal asleep state of being, but the experiences beyond are truly impossible to describe in any language because the intensity and richness are just not something that exists as a common thing that needs expression in language. Yes. Thank you, Natalia. And there's something so beautiful about being together. Being together meaning those of us who are opening our hearts to this moment, or opening our hearts to life, to come together in presence creates this vortex that's exponentially more powerful than we could ever be alone, apart, in the illusion of separation. So there's something really healing and transformative about being here. And that's what excites me the most. You know, that's what I feel most passionate, inspired by, is us coming together, whether it's online like this, in person, in physical presence. But that's what's most inspiring. That's what we're being called into. You know, kind of the next level, a new paradigm. And something more magical than we can ever comprehend with our minds always emerges when we come together. When we come together in retreats together, when we come together in this space together, when we come together in the online classes and courses and community gatherings. Something emerges from the presence that we don't know what it is, but we feel called to step into it, and emerges from the space together. Tono says, I need some peace now. Okay. Heather Marsh says, I find it hard to hold that state of being without the mind pulling me out. Now, good. I like that statement. Now, here's what's interesting. The mind, contrary to what you may have heard or believed, is actually not a problem. The mind is not the solution. It becomes clear the mind is not the solution. But then, what may be not as clear is that the mind is also not the problem. So, it's hard to hold that state of being without the mind pulling me out. But who's being pulled out? Who's really being pulled out? Who's being pulled in? Who's being pulled out? I'm being pulled out. I'm being pulled in. What's being pulled out is the idea, the story of a you that's also part of the mind. So the mind creates the whole dreamscape of being pulled out, being pulled in, move this way, move that way, up and down. I'm being bumped, pushed all around today, right? But when we awaken to who and what we truly are, which is not of the mind, we discover something, which is the essence, the infinite essence of who and what we truly are, which cannot be pulled in or out. It cannot be pulled up or down, or in or out, or left or right. It can't be pushed, it can't be pulled. Formless, shapeless, infinite, beyond borders, boundaries, dimensions. So then you start to, almost like clouds passing through the infinite blue sky, you start to observe the story of you being pulled out, of you being pulled in. You are not the cloud of the story of you being pulled out and pulled in. You are the infinite blue sky, of which every cloud rises and falls back into. It's actually really, really simple. It's not complicated at all. I'm working with a couple people that have had some huge breakthroughs in the past few weeks. And that's what they've been reporting. Is like, oh, I thought it was like, you know, really complicated and difficult and hard to achieve and had to climb the highest mountain to get to it. And once I've started opening to what you're pointing at, it's so unbelievably simple. It's so incredibly simple that it can seem difficult because we're used to trying to solve problems through the mind. Hey, Liz. By the way, I called you a few days ago. I don't know if you saw that or not. Liz Cox. So we rest into something that's ever present. There's a love that's ever present. You know, do we recognize that? Do we realize, oh, I didn't see that. Sorry then. I guess I missed that. So you start to transcend this perception of being pulled out of the mind, being pulled back into the mind, but also of love. You know, I have love, now I lost it, I hope I find it again, now I don't have it anymore, now I sort of have it, but I'm afraid I might lose it. You know, this creates this underlying level of stress and anxiety. And what's possible is to open to the recognition and realization that you are love itself. To recognize love as who and what you truly are, who and what we truly are, right? And from that place, from that level, from that space of awakening in our consciousness, we can have healthy, loving, intimate relationships, relatings. When we're not looking for it, when we're not grasping, we're not feeling like there's some hole inside of ourselves that needs to be filled. You know, so recognizing who and what we truly are from a space of inquiring into the truth. Inquiring into the truth. You know, don't settle for any kind of new age ideology, dogma, storyline. Be interested in the truth. You know, be interested in the truth. Give everything, all of your heart, all of your mind for the truth. Be in love with the truth. Be in love with discovering the truth. Each moment, each moment, each moment. And the truth sets you free. In the truth and being in line with the truth, there's a vast freedom that opens. And in this vast freedom that opens, we discover that the vastness of freedom and the vastness of love are one and the same thing. You discover a love that's acausal. You know what that means? Does everyone know what that means, to discover a love that's acausal? It means you discover a love that has no cause. It's beyond the story of cause and effect. So there's a love that opens, and you don't know why. There's a love for what is, and you don't know why. So someone says, like, why are you happy? Why you seem so happy? Why are you happy? And yeah, you can give a reason for the cause. Whatever the reason for the cause is temporary. So there'll be a time when that cause won't be bringing you the effect of happiness anymore, and you won't be happy anymore. So your happiness, your love, is dependent upon something outside of yourself. So now we're in the world of duality. There's a me, there's something outside of me. I want to hope I can try to get this thing, and if I get this thing, there'll be love, there'll be happiness, and if I don't, there won't be. So when we rest, relax into the truth of who and what we truly are, we recognize and realize that this love is not outside of us. And there's nothing outside of us that is the cause for the love that we feel, for the love that we are. And then paradoxically, that allows us to move, to breathe, to emanate and radiate from the love that is at the source point of the universe. And so that's where the empowerment comes into being. That's the true empowerment, because now I'm sourced from within. I'm not externally sourced. I'm internally sourced. I'm sourced from within. I'm aligned with the universal creative intelligence in this moment. So the source point of love flows through me as the unique expression, because we're all unique flowers, right? We're all unique flowers, so the unique expression flows through me. In this moment, and then is reflected back to me, but the reflection back is like a byproduct. Anyone have any questions, comments? Yeah, I agree. Best byproduct ever. It's really what the deeper teachings of the law of attraction are pointing at when they say whatever you want to achieve or acquire, you know, be that now. Be that now. Be in that resonant frequency now. Yet when you recognize and realize yourself as this now, and you're in this frequency now, then you don't actually need the thing that you thought in your mind that you needed that was outside of you, and that's when it can naturally align with you, which makes it sort of a cosmic joke, right? So the yearning, the feeling of lack consciousness doesn't bring the thing that you think you need. And yet, when you feel full and whole and resting in who and what you really are and connected to the source point of the love that is the essence of all things and the essence of all of us, then magical, miraculous things can transpire because they're aligned with the frequency, the resonant field of what you are, but you actually don't need them anymore because you are that already. So funny, right, everybody? Isn't life funny? So then you don't come from a place of lack, you come from a place of creation. It's the joy of being in the creative energy, the joy of being in the flow of creative energy, not to achieve a desired result, though it's fine to think about a result. In fact, everything is fine at this point. Everything is wonderful. Whatever you want to think, whatever you want to do, whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to achieve, it's all good, it's all great, it's all lovely, it's all amazing. But the fulfillment is in the now. The fulfillment is in the creative energy itself, not in some illusionary sense of a future point where everything's going to be okay. Are we clear on that? So you set a goal, but the goal, the reaching the goal isn't actually going to bring you any more fulfillment than you can open to in this moment right now. And in fact, paradoxically, opening to this moment in the depths of who you really are, opening to this moment in a space of complete fulfillment will be what actually allows you to be a source of creative energy, a source of what we can call manifestation. Being in the flow of the life force in this moment of the universal creative intelligence. Can we talk about surrender? Sure. I think I wrote something about it the other day. Surrender is a funny word because it has the energy, the way it can be used, of course, of losing. You know, losing the war, losing the battle. So for that reason, I don't always use it so often. And but what I feel it's pointing to is letting go of the small sense of the self, letting go of the story, the egoic story that we're attached and identified with, to open to something larger, to the infinite essence of who and what we are. So it's actually really beautiful in the sense of pointing to this illusionary sense of a separate self that's contracted and trying to control, wants to control. That's something we've been talking a lot about here. And then the secret glow is wanting to control, desire to control. Control other people, control the situation, control the future, control the storyline. And so there's a letting go or a surrender to all of that, which opens up us as a clear channel for this universal creative intelligence to flow through us. So surrender being a guidepost to say, I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know what's even best for me. I really don't even know how it's supposed to go. I really don't know what's supposed to happen. I'm just completely wide open, completely, wholly, fully available for Source, God, universal creative intelligence to flow through me in this moment. So, because when I fully don't know, then my mind is quiet. And again, it's just really being honest with ourselves, because none of us actually know. Do you think I know what I'm talking about right now? I just say whatever comes through me. There's no script, there's no plan, there's no bullet points, there's nothing, you know? So we just go in a depth of not knowing, surrendering, letting go, releasing. And then there's this wide open expanse, and in the letting go, a higher intelligence can move through us. And what we've been exploring, what we're going to explore, John Stringer and I were talking about the next retreat, really going deeper into recognizing that we have the ability to be our own channel, you know, to channel ourselves. We don't have to channel, you know, some sort of alien from the future. We can channel ourselves. When we really release the illusion of knowing something, of understanding something, and surrender to the truth that we don't know anything, that we are no one, that we don't have anything, we make space for something beyond the attachment identification with the story to move through us. That's where the magic and the miracles happen. And the magic and the miracles only ever happen now. So that's the good news. Or you could say the bad news if you were thinking they were going to happen, if you were waiting for them to happen in the future, because they won't happen in the future. They're only going to happen now. And life is magical and life is miraculous. And this level of divine synchronicity really starts to open in a really magical way when we relax into being present and we're able to unify with the flow state. Thanks for that question, Liz. Anyone have anything else they want to share? Questions, comments? And be comfortable, you know, don't be afraid to do live videos in your underwear like I am right now. Just be yourself, be authentic. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't feel like you have to, like, you know, dress like anybody else or create a website like somebody else, or you know what I'm saying. Be authentic, be genuine, be real, let it come through, let it be you, be the unique expression of who and what you are. Thanks, Jim. The words are coming from the heart. That's exactly right. And the words are coming from a universal heart. So I always like to give credit to all of us, you know, because when we're present, we create this unified resonant field. And what wants to be shared is really shared through the collective energy the unified resonant field of consciousness, that's all of us being present together. So thank you all so much. Appreciate you so much. Wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Check out the links to dive in deeper. See you in the next soon now.